What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check updates, the two new upcoming packages. Part one, the physical infrastructure package, which is $1.2 trillion, which is a deal between the Republicans and the Democrats and has now officially passed in the Senate. Yes, yesterday they officially passed it in the Senate, and it will now go to the House of Representatives. And now the Senate is working on passing part two, the next stimulus package, which has been announced at $3.5 trillion. The Democrats will be passing this next stimulus package all by themselves through the reconciliation process. In fact, they had 2 votes so far that went 50 votes yes for the Democrats and 49 votes for the Republicans. The Republicans have 50 votes, but there was one Republican who was out sick and didn't vote. So if they had 50 votes that were there for the Republicans, it would have been 50-50 tie, and then the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, would have stepped in for the tiebreaker vote to give the 51st vote, the tiebreaker vote, to the Democrats to pass it for the tiebreaker vote. So nonetheless, the Democrats would have passed it either way, and the Democrats are in the process right now of passing in the Senate, which is kind of the first part of the next stimulus package. Now, I need to note that there is no bill yet for the next stimulus package. It is currently sitting around $3.5 trillion, but Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema are saying they're not really sure. Well, actually, I forgot to say Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, dun, dun, dun. Yeah, that's kind of their theme song. Anytime we mention Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, 2 Democratic senators, they're not really sure about the $3.5 trillion stimulus package, the size of it, which is actually the largest stimulus package yet to date. The first stimulus check package underneath former President Donald Trump was $2.3 trillion. The second stimulus check package, which was underneath former President Donald Trump as well, which had that $600 stimulus check, was just under $1 trillion. It was like $960 billion. They were able to fit a stimulus check in there in under $1 trillion. And the third stimulus check package was $1.9 trillion. And that had the $1,400 stimulus checks for adults, children, and adult dependents. And it had the $3,000 to $3,600 child tax credits. And that package was only $1.9 trillion. This package has been announced by the Democrats at $3.5 trillion, although we have Senator Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, dun, 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 saying they're not sure about the $3.5 trillion, so they may have to negotiate it with them. Maybe grease their palms a little bit. Yeah, well, you know how Congress is, right? So nonetheless, the Democrats are going to pass this either way without the Republicans, the exact same way they passed the third stimulus check package. But the exact same thing happened with the third stimulus check package. Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema did the exact same thing with that package. They kind of stood up and said, well, I'm not sure about the third stimulus check package, and they had to negotiate with them with that package as well. And when all was said and done, both Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema voted for that package as well. And they did the same thing with the last package. It's kind of funny how it's always the same rigmarole every time. They're not sure, and they kind of need to get their palms greased every time around. See, I'm not a Democrat or I'm not a Republican, so I have the kind of the free-for-all to kind of call out either party. So when I see shenanigans from either party, I have the free-for-all to kind of say, yeah, I kind of know what's going on here. So Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema kind of pull this. They pull these shenanigans every time this comes around. So they did the same thing with the third stimulus check package. They're like, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to vote for this third stimulus check package either. This looks like a big bill. I'm not sure if I'm going to vote for this. And then when all was said and done, they ended up voting for it. And then they're doing the same thing around this time. In fact, both Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema voted yes on these 2 opening processes. But they're saying, well, I'm not sure if this package is too large or not. We need to negotiate. So that's kind of the process they're going through right now. Now, meanwhile, all the Republicans have voted no, all the Democrats have voted yes, and they're kind of going through the process. Also, in a few minutes here into the video, we will be hearing from Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer on what is going on with the stimulus process, and I will let you hear some very interesting news on a question he was asked about what might be in this next stimulus package. And I thought it was very interesting news regarding what could be in this next package. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. I will keep you up to date with everything stimulus related, what's going on in our country, what's going on with daily news that you need to know about, as well as what is going on in Washington, D.C. Remember that new videos come out here on our channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, some interesting news. Remember that new daily cases of the virus we had on August 9th, Google was reporting that we had 230,000 new cases. Yeah, it was 230 or 235. I guess they have revised it to now 178,000. So again, you can check this on your own. You can just go to Google and just type this in. So they've revised it down to 178,000 here for August 9th. Remember, on the weekends, they're always much, much lower because of just the way reporting is. You can see August 7th is 42,000 and August, what is that, 8th, only 36,000. The weekends, on Saturday and Sunday, the numbers are always weird like that. So we kind of really don't look too much on weekend cases. But August 9th, 178,000 new cases, which is still very, very high, but it's down from the number that was like 230,000. And now yesterday's number has come in at 161,000 new positive cases, still very, very, very high. And I think what's kind of more alarming here is the trajectory. This trajectory is just out of this world. And this is with, again, 70% of the United States having been vaccinated with one shot and 60% of the United States being fully vaccinated. And with this Delta variant, it's just being so contagious. The CDC says that it is twice as contagious as the original variant. So, yeah, and the question is, you can see how this trajectory here and these new amount of cases and where we were. So August 10th, 161,000 cases. Let's look at a year ago, August 10th. We had only, quote, only 47,000 cases a year ago. So only 47,000 cases. Now we have 161,000 cases. So that's like 3 times more cases than we had a year ago. And that's with 60 to 70% of people vaccinated right now. Yeah, you can let me know your thoughts on that down below in the comments. And here's some of kind of like the headlines going on here today. They're not good. Florida hospitals are overrun as the state fights one of the worst outbreaks in the United States. Again, Florida hospitals are overrun. This is from CNBC. Los Angeles mandating vaccination proof to enter many indoor public spaces. The measure passed the city council unanimously. This is now the second major city. New York City is the first city that passed this like a few days ago, maybe last week at this point now. So Los Angeles now following in New York City's footsteps. So Los Angeles mandating vaccination proof to enter many indoor public spaces. Yeah. This comes from Fox News. You can see Los Angeles, the second largest city in the United States, took a significant step towards the goal of requiring residents to be vaccinated in order to visit local business establishments. The Los Angeles City Council voted Wednesday to instruct the city attorney to draft an ordinance that would require at least one vaccination dose in order to visit restaurants, gyms, spas, stadiums, and other public spaces. The motion, introduced by Council President Nuri Martinez and Councilman Mitch O'Farrell last week, passed by a margin of 13-0 and will be sent to LA City Attorney Mike Furrell, who will write up the ordinance before sending it back to City Council for approval. Quote, we need to stop fighting the science and start fighting the virus. This is not a vaccine mandate, he explained. We're not going to tell anyone, that they have to get vaccinated. We're also not going to deny anyone the ability to access essential food, medicine, regardless of vaccination. That wouldn't be legal. That wouldn't be moral. But what is immoral is choosing not to get vaccinated, choosing to listen to someone delusional rant on Twitter. That is very interesting. I don't know. This is not a vaccine mandate, he says. I don't know. That seems kind of weird to me. But again, they're saying that they would require at least one vaccination dose to be able to visit a restaurant, a gym, a spa, a stadium, or other public space. So I don't know. I mean, you read the headline here. If it's not a mandate, what is it? You tell me your thoughts in the comments. Also, the pressure is building for full FDA approval. Dr. Fauci says that full FDA approval could come for the vaccines as early as the end of this month. Remember, the vaccines just have emergency FDA approval, but full FDA approval could come as early as the end of this month or by Labor Day. As you can see here, pressure is building for the FDA to fully approve the vaccine, a step that could lead to more mandates and help address hesitancy. The latest mandate came Monday when Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin announced he would move to make the vaccine mandatory for troops by mid-September, but he would act immediately if it received full approval before then. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the government's top infectious disease expert, added to the course on Sunday when he expressed hope that the approval would be more quickly. Dr. Fauci says, I don't predict, but I hope that it will be within the next few weeks. I hope it's within the month of August. California also mandates more vaccines for testing for all teachers and staff. As you can see here, California on Wednesday became the first state to require all teachers and staff in every school district be vaccinated against the virus or submit to regular testing. Under the new requirement, all staff, teachers, custodial staff, bus drivers, or anyone who works in schools will need to submit proof of vaccination or submit to weekly testing, Governor Gavin Newsom says at a news conference. I also want to let you know that the CDC has issued a major recall of chicken products over salmonella outbreaks. 28 infections and 11 hospitalizations are linked across 8 different states. The list of recalled food products includes Dutch Farm chickens with broccoli and cheese, Milford Valley chicken with broccoli and cheese, Kirkwood raw stuffed chicken, cordon bleu, among others. The complete list of products is linked here. You can kind of pause the screen right here if you think you might have any of these products. Maybe just throw away the products or take it back to the store if you think you have any of these chicken products. Okay, next up, let's hear directly from Chuck Schumer, the Senate Majority Leader, on the Senate floor on the proceedings of the passage, the partial passage of the proceedings on the $3.5 trillion stimulus package. And then we'll get to some questions from reporters on some very interesting parts. So first, we'll start with his first parts of what he said.
Hands if you got 6 hours of sleep. 5, 4, 3. Okay. All right. Anyway, I hope everyone got some sleep. I got a little bit, not as much as I'd like, but good. So this was one of the most significant legislative days we've had in a long time here in the United States Senate. But we still have a long road to travel. It's as if we caught a pass, a nice long pass at midfield, but we still have 50 yards to go before we score a touchdown. But it's still good to make that make that pass and make that advance. What we saw yesterday is very simple, that elections matter, the American people's votes matter, and Democrats are working hard to keep the promises we made to the American people when we won the majority. Earlier this year, as you know, we passed the American Rescue Plan, which helped put checks in people's pockets, shots in people's arms, and save small businesses and our economy. Now we're going from rescue to recovery, to make the economy, to make the American people's lives even better than it was before COVID, because there were so many structural problems in our economy, and there became a sourness in the land that we very much want to remove. The two-track strategy, which I outlined earlier this year, is moving full steam ahead. When I first said we were going to pass both the bipartisan infrastructure bill and the budget resolution before we broke for the August recess, many said it was an impossible task. But Democrats in the Senate are determined, fiercely determined, to move President Biden's Build Back Better agenda forward. Sometimes it took a little prodding. It took working weekends, late nights, cloture motions. But we kept working at it. I kept prodding the bipartisan group to go forward, pushing them when they needed pushing, giving them more time and breathing space when they needed more time and breathing space. And that bill passed yesterday. But now we have to keep working at it, and I'm very pleased to report that the two-track strategy is right on track. As I said, first we passed the bipartisan infrastructure package with all 50 Democrats and 19 Republicans. Every Democrat voted for both the bipartisan bill and the resolution, the budget resolution. Every Democrat voted for both.
Okay, so a couple things I want to know here is that this might get a little bit confusing. This is why I always try to explain everything so that everybody can understand. I understand, I get like, I don't know, about 80,000, sometimes 100,000 people that watch every episode. And I understand that everybody might not understand every detail. That's why I try to explain everything. So number one is that there's going to be several different votes through the part two, the stimulus package here, okay? They don't just vote on it one time, okay? I think most people are kind of understanding here. It's not just one vote and it's done, okay? Think of it as kind of a several different step process, okay? I think they voted now twice, okay? And both votes were 50 yeses, Democrats, and 49 votes no, Republicans, okay? They have voted now twice, I believe, okay? There are 50 Republicans. It's just that one Republican wasn't there to vote. I think there's one Republican out sick, okay? If it was 50 Republicans that voted no, then the vice president would have stepped in for the tiebreaker, and then they would have just passed it 51 to 50, okay? Either way, it passed. But again, it's not fully passed, okay? It's just a step in the process, okay? It's very similar to the infrastructure package, how they have to kind of lock in each step, okay? It's kind of a part in the process. These big, massive, major bills, it's not just a one-step process, especially through the reconciliation process. It's just how it's done. It's just how legislative is. It's just kind of the checks and balance of how our Congress works, okay? I don't know why it's like that. It's just how it is, right? Okay. Now, they don't even have a bill written yet, so they can't just pass it right now because there's not a bill yet. They're going to have to go through some negotiations. Remember that Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin are kind of like a little bit, they're kind of like a little queasy right now. They're like, I'm not so sure, and they're going to need to negotiate right now, okay? So just keep that in mind. But here's the good thing is that they're already working on the stimulus package here in the Senate. They've already passed the first two parts of it without a bill. Okay, this is kind of par for the course. This is kind of normal. They did this with the infrastructure package. If you remember, just like a week ago, they actually passed the first two parts of the infrastructure package without a bill. And then they introduced the bill like halfway or 2/3 of the way through the process as well. And then when the bill came out, it was 2,702 pages. I know some of you guys read it for some light nighttime reading. I know you guys read it. Come on. I know you were going to sleep and you're like, you know what, Jimmy said to read that before I go to bed. And you were thumbing through it at 2,702 pages. Come on. I know you guys read it. Yeah, I didn't read that 2,702 pages either. Come on. You'd be reading it for days, right? How long would it take you to read 2,702 pages of legislative? That's like legal jargon, right? That's like the longest read of your life. But yeah, it's really long. Like you could read the bullet points, right? But it's a really long read. But nonetheless, let me show you this really interesting part of Chuck Schumer was asked what is on the table for this next stimulus package, like. What could be in this next stimulus package? Let me show you this part.
Two things. I'd say we're going to keep at it. And as I've said before, everything is on the table. Yes.
The reporter's question was inaudible. You couldn't hear it, but they basically said that what's on the table. He said everything is on the table. Everything is on the table. So basically, stimulus checks are on the table. Social Security raises are on the table. Child tax credits are on the table. Adult tax credits are on the table. Basically, checks for adults, checks for children. Everything is on the table. And the package is $3.5 trillion. Might be negotiated, down a little bit, anything like that. But everything is on the table. I found that very encouraging. So you heard it directly from him. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. I will keep you up to date with everything. Make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't yet. You can click the bell icon to all notifications to get reminder notifications when we go live with new videos, which is every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They're in the process of passing this next stimulus package, and we will see. We will see. Remember, there's going to be free college in this next package, possibly, Medicare 2.0. There's going to be money in there, whether it's child tax credits, adult tax credits, stimulus checks, home buyer tax credits or home buyer credits. There's going to be all sorts of crazy stuff in here. So yeah, I'll keep you up to date. Don't miss any new videos at this point because we're literally in the home stretch. Yeah. So you can click this top video here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video is how President Biden wants to raise Social Security benefits. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.